to my channel, Driven to Insanity. Today's video is 5 reasons you do not want to be a truck driver, part 4. As I have stated in other videos that I've had to make this a little series because people, there are literally that many reasons why you do not want to be a truck driver. There are plentiful reasons why you do not want to be a truck driver. I mean, there is a lot of reasons why you do not want to be a truck driver. So, people, shall we get started? Number 1, not enough parking. And I'm going to come out and say it. A lot of this is the truck driver's own fault. In fact, when I pulled into this rest area, I noticed bags of urine laying on the ground in the parking spots. Now people, what does the general public think when they see this? What are these places states and communities that have these rest areas for you to park at? What are they supposed to think when they see that you're doing this? They think that you're disgusting, nasty pigs. And for many of you, the ones doing this, well, they're correct. I mean, it is disgusting. Walmarts don't want you there because you all running over stuff, putting your human waste all over the place. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants to pick up the trash bag that's picking up the trash bags out of the trash cans and get human waste on them. It's quite disgusting. And this business isn't helping things. This dystopian atmosphere that sadly modern technology has enabled a very abusive industry to engage in, they're not getting rid of the bad drivers. They're getting rid of the good drivers. The good drivers are saying, I've had enough of this, and they're moving on to other things. I'm working on getting into other things. I won't say what because I don't want to identify myself for reasons, but this dystopian atmosphere is not getting rid of the dangerous drivers. It's not getting rid of the bad drivers. It's getting rid of the good drivers, getting rid of the quality. And I hate to say it, but that's the reality. It is what it is, the saying goes. But people, there is not enough parking in this business. You go and you can see right here in my video, these guys park along the car area of the rest area. And you look at the rest areas, you see them parked along the side of the interstates and roads leading up to and leading away from these rest areas. And you'll see this. You'll see these drivers trying to park in anywhere they can find. When the off-ramps had enough shoulder before the states figured out, hey, we can get rid of the shoulder, the truck drivers won't park there. I remember, many a times parking on the shoulders on off-ramp, on-ramps and stuff like that because of the parking situation. And these truck stops, they're not helping matters. Pilot Flying J, PA Petro, and all these goat humpers from India buying up truck stops, which is the little no-names, which is really sad because they turn them literally in shitholes. They're destroying everything. I mean, Pilot Flying J, PA Petro have now preferred or reserved parking so they can charge you a lot. After you've had to engage in their seriously gouged prices, now they stick it to you even more because that's what they do, because they know they've got a captive audience. They know that the truck drivers have literally trashed their way into not having places to go, that they've destroyed property that places don't want them there. That's why Cabela's, that's owned by Bass Pro Shops, don't want trucks there. They were tired of their property getting destroyed and picking up human waste. I mean, the person picking up the trash out of the trash can at Walmart don't want to get doused with your shit piss. I mean, seriously, who would? I'd hate to meet the person that does. They're probably somebody with serious mental issues. A lot of them. But there's not enough parking. And when you're having to pay ridiculous prices, I've even seen like $50 a night. I mean, that's rent payments. Stuff like that. I mean, it's a lot of money. And so they know they have a captive audience because of what you all have done to yourselves. So people, when you come into this business, you're going to notice this problem. And these trucks, Anytime you look on the highway, you're going to see trucks on the highway. These trucks is what delivers America. It's what enables trade. These trucks, like that HEB going down the road, FedEx, they're delivering your goods, your groceries, your building materials. What makes industry in America happen? It's why you have groceries on your shelf. But there isn't enough parking. And until the drivers will clean their act up, which is not going to happen due to the dystopian atmosphere that this business has become, and until the place is taken seriously about the problem with the parking. But these states, they've noticed that, hey, we can get rid of the rest areas and we don't have to deal with the drivers no more, the truck drivers throwing bottles of piss and bags of shit or bags of piss, such as was in this parking lot. We don't have them trashing everything, and so we don't have to take care of it and cut our costs. And like Connecticut, they made laws where they basically couldn't open no new truck stops because, as Connecticut put it, they wanted to discourage drivers from coming into their state and staying in their state, stuff like that. That they wanted them to drop off, pick up, and get the hell out. In fact, when you go near the Rotten Apple in New York City, the truck stops, like Pilot, you can only park there for like 30 minutes and then you have to leave. With this Yankee taking his car to the bar and having $8 of beer, he doesn't care. He doesn't think about it. He thinks about watching some rich guy scratch his crotch and spit all over the place. On TV, they call it baseball. I call it rich guy scratching his crotch and spitting all over the place. But they don't really think about that. They don't think about, hey, where are these guys going to sleep? They don't want to be on the road with tired drivers. Well, you know what? Drivers are tired for a couple of reasons. One is they don't have a place to go to get some rest. That's the reality. Also, the way these trucking companies will run them is just ridiculous. And so people, this is one of the reasons why you do not want to be a truck driver, is because there isn't enough parking. You're competing for even the crappy places, the Go Pumper India run truck stop that literally has more craters in the moon and you might get lost in one of them. And then he wants $50 a night after cussing you out for being an American. Sad. And so, people, that's number one, not enough parking. Two, politicians target you. I remember back many years ago, there was a politician in Colorado that was running for office. And people, I kid you not, one of his things in his campaign was he makes it tough on truckers. That is right. That was his whole thing, is he makes it tough on truckers. Maybe he should not buy anything a truck driver delivers. But politicians will target you. They have special interest groups like people who hate truckers. And they have to pander to them. These people are paying them a lot of money. These unions, these railroad unions, are paying them a lot of money to basically make life difficult on you. And why would the railroad do it? Because the railroad benefits from it, because that means more stuff goes by train. I mean, people, you are a target when you are a truck driver. And politicians will target you. Just look at what Obama did when that van full of so-called comedians got wiped out. And he went on a crusade against the American truck driver. Obama was very adamant about it, but he was very adamant about a lot of bad things, like his Obamacare. But that's a story for a different book, But politicians, they will target you. They're constantly making laws against you. FMCSA, Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. They are anything but safe. In fact, if they actually cared about safety, they'd do something about them greedy lawyers, like that lunatic with his sledgehammer, that Thomas J. Henry, promising $50 million and all that crap. They would look at, the real problems out there. They would look at the horrendously rude driving. They would look at the people that come here from other countries and won't drive by our standards. They drive by where they've left. Russia, Mexico, all these other countries, they don't drive like Americans. Of course, it makes you wonder really who does. But these politicians, these so-called safety groups, they don't care. about safety. They care about money. These politicians, they care about pandering to these special interest groups that puts a lot of money into them. And so people, that is number two of why you do not want to be a truck driver, is politicians charge you. Number three, pay is not worth it. And you might think, wow, truck drivers make a lot of money. Well, they do make pretty decent, but look at the hours they put in. Okay, the average truck driver is going to make more than the guy at Walmart, but look at the hours he puts in. You are putting in driving time 70 hours a week. That's not including all the stuff you're not driving, where you're doing work on the flatbed or oversized, or working on the dock or whatever, the stuff that you're not getting paid for, which there's a lot of things in this business you don't get paid for. Let's see, doing work and not getting paid for it. Sounds like a word that starts with S and you keep hearing about it in the news. You know, reparations for it. But, you know, the pay isn't worth it. You're working basically 3 full-time jobs worth of hours. And the pay, when you break it down to it, is basically less than minimum wage. I mean, it's not worth it. The trucking industry really hasn't seen a raise much of the way since 1977. You know, when I started driving, you as a truck driver, you made good money compared to other people. You know, it was pretty good. Now, I'm barely making ends meet. And I'm working my ass off. And I'm barely making ends meet. I mean, it's really not worth it, people. And you'd see people, I heard there was really good money in it. Look at the hours you're going to be working. You could work 3 full-time jobs for the hours you're working and make more than twice what you are as a truck driver. I mean, that is really sad. You know, the pay isn't worth it for the hours that you put in and for all that you do. And so people, that is one of the reasons you do not want to be a truck driver. The pay isn't there, the money isn't there. And with a dystopian life and a dystopian atmosphere, it's making it even worse. And with everything like the paid parking, after they gouge the shit out of the prices, you can't even make, it's really not worth it at all. I mean, it's honestly, it's sad. And so people, that's number 3 of why you do not want to be a truck driver, is the pay isn't worth it. Number 4, trucking destroys your mind. And people, this is reality that drivers face, and many of them will deny it, but all you gotta do is just listen to the conversations in the truck stops. I've even encountered a couple weirdos talking about how aliens designed our money. I mean, we all know that the IRS is really way out there and that they are definitely aliens. They come from Uranus. You know, not very nice ones either. But, you know, you listen to what these drivers have talked about, and you hear a lot of these drivers, you know, all talking about when they were in the military, because there's a lot of veterans in this business because of the way this country treats veterans. You know, they're trying to bring their minds back to a, quote, happier time, even if that happy time is a lie that they've had to invent for themselves. And that's what this business will do. The intense loneliness, the extremely high stress, being treated like subhuman garbage in this industry, and the police and stuff like that, the way they treat you, the way society treats you. You know, it destroys your mind. It literally tears at you. You see some truck driver going down the road and he's talking and you don't see no headpiece or whatever. He's talking to himself, and I've seen people have full-on arguments with themselves. I mean, I've worked around mental patients, and what I've seen with truck drivers, I mean, hate to say it, but yeah, a lot of them definitely would make that mental patient say, wow, man, you're cuckoo. And that's what this business does. And a lot of my videos, in fact, pretty much all of them, I sound very angry, and it's because of what this business does. It, makes you very angry. Whether it's the dispatch, whether it's the so-called four-wheelers on the road, it's what truck drivers call people in cars that only got four wheels. You call us 18-wheelers, so we call you four-wheelers. The way they act, the way the other drivers act. And I'm gonna tell you right now, truck drivers can be very, very rude drivers, especially the dumb fucks in dump trucks. They are horrendously rude. Those dump truck drivers, and if you're a dump truck driver, seriously, quit being so damn rude. Blowing your horn when somebody in a, quote, Swift truck won't get out of your way because you're in a dump truck. Nobody cares if you're in a dump truck. Being rude is being rude. All these Iowa 80 PA truck stop radio retards throwing the finger at somebody because they're in the middle lane. Well, here's a hint, you idiot. That middle lane is general flow of traffic, buying education. Just everything about this. You got Big Hood trying to pass you in a tight construction zone because there's a fat one he wants to go see, and yes, I've heard it. This business really tears at you. The loneliness, the stress, it eats at you. I mean, it is like piranhas chewing you up as soon as you enter the water. That's what happens to your mind when you become a truck driver, and that's, why you actually see truck drivers committing suicide. I've known quite a few of them that's committed suicide because of what it's done to them. The stress, being constantly harassed by the police, being assaulted by the police. And yes, that's even happened to me, Patton Village, right? Coming out of the Flying J, got us violently assaulted by a Patton Village cop because he was mad because his wife left him for a truck driver. Being a dick like that, it don't take much to figure out why she left him. Corporal Williams of Crane, Texas, trying to plant drugs in my truck. And according to Judge Betty, we're all running around high on drugs, raping children. I've never done drugs in my life. I have other things, that I do. And it's not any related to drugs. It's more creativity, But trucking will literally destroy your mind. I mean, it will eat at you. The loneliness, just being behind the wheel, just your mind begins to wonder. There's an old saying is, an idle mind is a devil's playground. Well, it definitely is here. And that devil is constantly sticking that pitchfork right in your brain. And a lot of times drivers actually will resort to using drugs, especially the cow haulers would use what they call the $40 toothpick to stay awake. But that destroys your mind. The always being angry. And I'll be honest, in a lot of my videos, I intentionally sound very angry because of what this business does, but it is intentional. Because I want to draw awareness to the problems in this industry. I want people to say, hey, whoa, what's going on? I want to sound angry in my videos because this business needs to change, and it needs to change for the better. But it's only changing for the worse. It's becoming very dystopian. It's becoming utterly disgusting. I mean, it's already been a disgusting business. And you look at historically, transportation workers have always been treated like shit. In the golden age of piracy between the years 1715 and 1722, in the court cases, most of the pirates stated that they became pirates because of how they were treated on the merchants. In the galleys of the Renaissance era, the people would literally be chained to their seats. They would chain the people to their seats on the galleys. Shanghai came from kidnapping people and forcing them to sail ships. You were Shanghai, basically kidnapped and forced to be a transportation worker. And even along like the Silk Road throughout history and various other areas, transportation workers have always been treated like shit. And people, we need to evolve as a society. There's a saying is, you do not judge a society based on its best citizens, you judge a society based on its worst. And when a society is more concerned about treating a convicted serial killer better than a truck driver, New York State, where they take their car to the bar, I even seen a Swift driver that had froze to death parked next to a sign that said, attention diesel operators, you're not permitted to idle your truck more than 5 minutes as per section. And when it was brought up to New York, where they take their car to the bar, New York's answer is our laws are our laws and they will be enforced. You go to New Jersey, you see some piece of shit peddling heroin on the street. Where are the cops at? Where are they at in Camden, New Jersey? They're down the road writing tickets to truck drivers for trying to stay warm in the winter and cool in the summer. And this stuff eats the driver's mind. This all eats it there. That not being able to sleep because Iowa 80 thinks he's driving a Harley Davidson and he's got his super trucker pipes because he wants to pretend he's driving a Harley or Prime put his reefer next to your sleeper. This all destroys your mind, eats at you. And so a lot of truck drivers I see literally go insane. As I've stated, I've seen mental patients, I've worked with mental patients, and I've seen mental patients that would literally look at drivers and say, wow, you really need mental therapy. You are cuckoo. And it's what this business does to you people. It really does. And you hear these guys, oh, I was special order. No, you're special education. But he's created an alternative reality. I've noticed with my stepmother would literally disappear off into what we called her Jean's world, where she'd sit there in a chair in a blank stare. And it was because how my father treated her. He treated her like utter shit. And seeing people like that, and then I see the way these drivers are, it's the same thing. And their minds have been destroyed. How society has treated them, how their own brethren on the road as truck drivers have treated them, how everybody has treated them, and the boredom, the loneliness, it just eats at you. It's like putting an inmate in solitary confinement and expecting them to be mentally stable when they come out 6 weeks later. No. And so people, that is number 4 of why you do not want to be a truck driver. It will destroy your mind. So, number 5, discrimination. People, discrimination in this business is a reality. It is. And I've experienced this myself. In fact, including recently, I've experienced discrimination. And discrimination happens primarily by race and religion. And I will tell you this, the racial discrimination I've seen in this business isn't by white people against black people. It's actually the other way around. I've had the Loves, they're right outside of Baton Rouge, refuse to serve me because I was white. I've had a TA, when they had the restaurant right there in Alabama, refuse, the waitress would not even say a word. And when I asked, what's your problem? She pointed at skin color. I said, you mean to tell me that you won't serve me because I'm white? And she shook her head, yes. She wouldn't even say a word to me because of my skin color. How many times I've walked into a place, hey, cracker. I'm gonna tell you people something right now. Cracker, calling a person a cracker is the same as calling another person the quote N-word. It is the same level of degradation. It should be banned as the other. It should be ostracized, completely ostracized. Calling a person a cracker. I have never owned a goddamn slave in my life. Okay? When you discriminate against me because of my skin color, calling me a cracker, calling me a saltine, calling me a snow. You know what, people, that is racial bullshit. And that is a suck-ass, sorry reality of this business, is you face this kind of shit. This discrimination. Discriminating against white people is discrimination. Calling us obscene names like cracker, snow, and saltine. People, that should be treated the same as calling somebody other names, like the N-word or referring to primates or whatever, and this happens all the time in this business. You go into a place, what's up, cracker? How would you feel if I did that to you but in a reverse situation? I would be in trouble, but nothing happens. And this is a reality. This is a reality. You're a white person, you go into like that Loves, and they don't want to serve you because of your skin color. I've seen multiple places like that, because you're white. I've seen very few times where I've had friends that were black and go into a place and they refuse to serve them. Very few times have I ever seen it. And discrimination is a reality on race, and it isn't always whites against blacks. A lot of times, in fact, most, I dare say, it's the other way around. And religion is a reality in this business as well. It is a very hard reality. In fact, I lost a job with a trucking company one time because me and a few others tried to bring the head of safety up on discrimination charges based on religion. All of us lost our jobs. All of us did, that tried to get him in trouble. And the guy was a complete zealot. He was an absolute zealot. His name was Dave Decker. He was kicked out of the Marine Corps for discrimination, fired from CFI for discrimination, because he was a zealot. He could not handle people that didn't believe the same as him. And I've seen this even recently. Where I had a person, I informed them that, they tried to get religious with me. I informed them I had different views, and they made derogatory remarks. And when I brought it up to a supervisor, guess what response I got? Okay, well, we'll look into it. Nothing happened. I had one time, I had to literally fight a guy, almost killed him, because he could not accept the fact that, hey, you know what? People have different beliefs than you. This is America. The very first part of the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the very first part of the First Amendment states, Congress shall make no laws regarding an establishment of religion, nor prohibit the free exercise therefore of. Since there's a lot of idiots that can't understand it, let me explain it to you. Okay? Shall make no laws regarding establishment of religion. That means that there is no established religion in the United States. This is not supposed to be a theocracy. There is no established religion. Nor prohibit the free exercise therefore of. You have the right to practice whatever religion you want. However, you do not have the right to force it upon others. You can practice, if you want to pray to a rock and call it "Oh Rock Almighty," you want to call it a Rock Obama, they got the Flying Spaghetti Monster, which is absolutely hilarious religion. Read their Facebook page. It says, "We are not a social club for atheists." Yeah, right. That's exactly what it is. But they pray to pasta. You can practice whatever silly religion, and it was made as a satire religion because of the Kansas School Board, something to do with that, and they made it as a satire to show mockery, But I have, and many people have faced religious discrimination. I've seen Sikhs, Muslims face discrimination in this business based on religion. And it is an ugly, ugly reality of the discrimination that a, quote, non-Christian person will face. But what happens when we file a complaint? EEO complaint? Throw it right out the window. And then, of course, then repercussions will happen. Paula Livingston of P&S Transportation would even send me satellite messages, "I'm praising the Lord for you." She sent me a lot of derogatory things. And when I brought it up to the owners of P&S, they said they weren't going to do a damn thing. They weren't going to do a damn thing. And, oh, you have no proof. Paula Livingston made sure I understood it was her. Okay? You have no proof. Sending these messages, if I walked up to a Christian and said, "I'm hailing Satan for you," how would you react? How would you react if I walked up and said, "I'm hailing Satan for you"? You wouldn't like it. So I'm supposed to like when you say, "I'm praising the Lord for you," I'm supposed to like that too. We have freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want, but it's like with the racial discrimination. You should see how far you get when you call people certain names, unless of course you're calling them a crackle or saltine or snow or whatever. You ain't gonna get very far. You're gonna get far out of a job. I guarantee you that. But discrimination is a reality in this business. Whether it's by race, by religion, by gender, I've seen it by gender, where I've had places actually state that they wouldn't hire a female driver. And some of the answers I've heard is because they'll be selling their ass in the truck stop, or they don't have enough strength to do their job. I'm gonna tell you right now, people, I've known some flatbed female drivers that put any man to shame. I guarantee you, I've known some seriously hellacious, great female driver flatbeds and heavy haul drivers that put any U-swinging dick idiots out there to shame. I tell you right now, we had one, her name, we called her Stinky Sue, and it would take much to figure out why. And she'd run your damn balls off you. That woman runs circles around any guy out there. Of course, she's retired now. She didn't want to retire, but, well, it comes to a point. But she's retired. We called her Stinky Sue because hygiene wasn't her best attribute. She could drive circles around anybody, put a truck in places you'd have a hard time putting a Volkswagen, but taking a shower wasn't exactly her priority. It wasn't her best skill either. But I've seen many female drivers out there that put any of you guys out there to shame. In fact, I saw one earlier today. I'm gonna tell you right now, that girl could drive. She had no issues whatsoever. That little senorita, she had no problem. She made guys look sad when they try to back up. That little girl was like one shot, boom. She's like a hole in one, boom, right in, laugh at you. I mean, that little senorita, young girl, oh. She had her game going. She knew how to do it. She knew what she was doing. I've run into a lot of female drivers that put any of you guys out there to shame. Then I've heard some of these trucking companies say they wouldn't hire a female. Yeah, you're right. You're an idiot. But it exists as a reality in this business, people. The discrimination. It is an ugly reality that in 2023, that we have discrimination. We as a human species should evolve. We should be better than that. And it's sickening. This is not a theocracy. There is no official language in the United States. I had a driver one time get mad because I was talking Spanish to one of my customers. They just happened to be along the border. Now, how many of them do you think spoke English? I have a relative that refuses to ever talk to me again because I stated the fact that there was no official language in the United States. And if a person can't speak English, I'll speak Spanish to them. Not even an issue. I speak multiple languages. It's not even an issue. There is no official language of the United States, and discrimination against non-English speakers is also a reality. It is a reality. Now, in this business, you are required federally to be able to speak functional English. Now, on the state level, that can be different. Texas, I think California, and a few other the border states, if you're interstate, it's a different rule. Texas, you see a lot of drivers in Texas that are interstate that don't speak English. Why? Spanish is the second most common language spoken in Texas for a reason, And so discriminating against a person because they can't speak your language, you might want to think about the state you're in. That's the reality. I speak multiple languages, which is pretty convenient. Of course, I've also been to 18 countries outside the United States. I've had the pleasure of going all over the world. It was a lot of fun. I love the maritime business. But, that's how it is. Discrimination though. Discrimination is an ugly reality in this business. And calling somebody a cracker, a saltine, a snow, a caveman is as nasty as calling a person a quote N-word or referring to primates or whatever. It's just as bad. It's definitely not less. It's discrimination and refusing to serve a person because of their race. Get out of the business. Get out, don't be a waitress. Don't just go home, put your head in the pillow, and just leave everybody alone. I mean, it's just stupid, it's ridiculous. So people, these are 5 reasons you do not want to be a truck driver, part 4. And it's quite sad, honestly. I mean, it's really sad that these reasons exist. So everyone, drive safe, be safe, take care of others, quit being a bunch of dicks, and truck drivers, quit being so nasty. You want to park, don't put your piss and shit all over the place. It's disgusting. So trucking companies, and remember this, your drivers are human beings. Everyone, have a nice day.